name is Mike Renick. I service the Longboat Key area of Florida that's over by Sarasota. I've been an agent for 5 years, but I really took real estate seriously a year ago, right about now, when I came to this conference. Our goal this year, we did about $6 million in business last year. Most of it was after this conference. So I told some of my friends that our goal this year would be $25 million. What I did afterwards is we went back, we put the plans in place, and we're ahead of schedule.
Congratulations, give a big round of applause. Tell them who you are, tell them what, same thing. We're just going to go right down the line. Just go. Ladies first.
My name is Liz Jones. I'm from right here in Orlando, Florida.
Clap it up for Orlando, ladies and gentlemen. Your microphone's kind of to the left. Speak a little louder.
I have been in real estate for 1 year. I started coaching last year after the blueprint. Yep. And this year my goal was 25 transactions and we just bumped it up to 40.
Okay, give her a huge round of applause. Allison, if she'll do it, I'll buy you, well, you're coming tonight, cool. So I want you two to talk, right? Just like I wanted you to meet with Swapnell so you can get that connection. So we're gonna have to get in deep on that. All right, tell me, Mark, tell me where you're from, give the whole story.
Justin Lindsay, I'm from Destin, Florida. That's up by Panama City Beach. And been in real estate for about 4.5 years. And I started coaching last year at Blueprint. I think I was the absolute last person that signed up at like 4:59.
I guess we're like, hey, we're going to the airport. You're like,
yeah,
no, wait,
hold on a second. I'm still on the phone. My goal this year is to do 20 million. 20 million, I want to do about 45 transactions. And a little bit behind. The new baby kind of slowed me down a little bit. But
okay, will you guys hit him the next time he gets off stage? $20 million to goal, and the new baby slowed him down. Can we give him like a big round of applause for new baby?
He's 6 months.
6 months old. That doesn't disrupt anything, does it? You basically just go, oh, remember when we used to be able to sleep? Is that your first child?
Second.
Second child.
I have a 4-year-old too. So
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so you're behind. What will you finish with unless you make some serious adjustments? Where will you end the year? Based on where you're at, based on where I'm at, I'll probably get my goal. Goal's 20 and 25. You're off track.
Probably 10, 15.
That's a big swing, 10 to 15.
Okay, let's go 15.
Okay.
I'll get to 15 if I.
So did you not plan out new baby equals adjust your business?
I did, and last year one of my biggest fear with signing up was we're getting ready to go from 2 incomes to 1, and I've got to support my family, but I hadn't done it at all since I got out of the Army, and so my wife was like, well, you know, we have this money, you're doing well enough, you know, so just don't go down there to Orlando and spend a bunch of money. And
sorry, honey.
Yeah, and so
signing up for this and doing that. I got this.
All right, so of course I signed up for the core program, and she absolutely had a plan for killing me once I got home.
That's never in my list of goals.
Yeah, and but you know, of course I swore to her, you know, I was going to commit myself 100% to my coach.
Good.
And she's like, you better, because this is pretty big. So started working on it, and in December of last year, it closed 800,000 in volume, and really started turning it around. Started talking to my coach about doing a shift from you know, kind of the lower end market, where my price point was about 100,000, to trying to go more towards the luxury down on the beach. And that's been kind of my primary focus for the past year with my coach. And it's just now started to work. Last year I closed a total of 2.3 million for the year. Right now I'm at 2.8 with 4 transactions, and last year I had 27 transactions.
So guys, give a huge round of applause. I'm going to come back to you with just kind of man to man. I have 2 boys and kids in life, but I got to hear first from Liz. raised your goal. Now, I asked all of them, like I asked yesterday, I said, write down the 3 or 4 things that have been most impactful for you to share with them. So Liz, I want you to go first. Yeah, I see you got your little note card. I like how you're prepared. So they don't want to sell way more homes. Tell them what you wrote down. What are the 3, 4 things they've got to do to take their business to the next level and really, really take this thing on? What'd you write down?
So the most important thing for me, last year when I came, I didn't really know anything about Tom Ferry or anything like that, and I'd done 1 transaction before I came, and I maybe had $3,000 in my bank account. And I gambled on it, and I signed up for coaching, and the number 1 thing that I did was to surround myself with people that were like-minded and really would kind of push me. So there's a girl in my office that I work with, her name's Christy, and I talk to her at least 5 times a day, just going over different ideas and different things that we need to do. And so for me and my business, that was just the number 1 thing that got me from point A to point B.
Okay, can I just have them write something down? Write this down in your notes. You are an average of the 5 people you spend time with at your office. You earn an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You know what I mean? That's the old line, if you want to soar with the eagles, you can't hang out with chickens. She got that point. What was number 2 on your list?
Number 2 was cold calling, mainly for sale by owners. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of money, so one of the most inexpensive things I could do was get a list of all the for sale by owners and just cold call them and make appointments. And we definitely did it by trial and error. I mean, I think Christy and I went on 1 appointment and we actually begged her to list with us. Like, we didn't even know what to say. So we were like, can you please list your $1 million house? And that didn't go over very well, so we checked that one off the list. That doesn't work.
Peggy didn't work. But you know what? God bless her, she tried.
Right. We did, we begged. But yeah, so we just kind of went over different scripts and just kind of figured out what worked for us, and so that was another big piece. We ended up converting over $1 million in sales from for sale by owners just in the first 3 months that we started.
Alright, so I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm a for sale by owner, call me. Ring, ring, ring. Hello?
Hi, is this Tom Ferry?
Yes it is. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Liz Jones. I'm with Kelly Price and Company. How are you?
I'm doing great. How can I help? What's going on?
Well, I noticed that your house was for sale by owner. I'm just curious, you know, have you had a lot of interest in it? How's everything going with that?
Yeah, we've had a lot of interest, and we actually think we got a buyer right now. So, you know, unless you have a buyer for the property, I don't want to talk about selling my house.
You know what? I don't want to interfere with that at all. But I have a ton of buyers that I'm working with. Are you cooperating with agents if I bring you a buyer?
I mean, if you can bring me a buyer that's willing to pay a little bit more, do you want to take a little piece of the action, that's fine, but I've got my net and I know what I want. And I actually did this in 1978, so I kind of know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
Tom, that's great. Listen, is there a time that I could come over and maybe just take a look at the house and just see if it would fit for any of the buyers that I'm currently working with?
Well, why would you want to do that?
Well, all the buyers that I represent, we try to find the best house that fits them. And if I don't know your house because it's not on our MLS system, I want to know everything and every option for my buyers. And your house happened to come up on the list as well, so I want to see what your house is all about.
Okay, now how many of you are thinking she doesn't sound like a brand new agent? That script was awesome. Give her a huge round of applause. You think she did that a few times?
Yes.
Because to do it in front of 600 people would make most people nervous. And I looked away intentionally, and I was watching the screen, calm, focused, beautiful. So you called Fizbo's. What was the third thing?
The third thing was Zillow. We signed up for the worst zip code nobody wanted. Because it was the cheapest, clearly.
Yeah.
So we did that. We bought the most impressions that we could. And everyone in our office kind of made fun of us at first, like, oh, you're working that area. We're like, yes, we are. And so we started working that area, and it's kind of funny because most of our sales didn't even go to that area. It went to surrounding areas, which were really popular. But yeah, Zillow was the third thing that we really did that.
Okay, so Fizbo's, Zillow, and the first one is you got to surround yourself with like minds. Is there anything else on your list?
No.
Yeah? Okay, let's give her a huge round of applause. Thank you. Mike, what's the goal for sales this? Because you guys are obviously going to well exceed your original goal. What's the goal again?
25 million.
Okay, so 25 million average sales price?
Almost a half a million.
Almost a half. So we're talking about 50 transactions. Guys, look up here. In the world of the National Association of Realtors, 50 transactions puts him in the top 5% of all real estate agents on the planet. Clap it up, give him a big round of applause. I know you got a list, but do you have a team?
There's 2 of us.
So why is there 2 of you? Like, why do you do that?
I retired from General Motors after a 31-year career, and I got moved around every 18 months into a new assignment. And the assignment was an area that I had no expertise. And I learned early on I had to have a right-hand person to help me do what I got to do. So actually, if you want to talk about accountability, you see a young man right there. Our coach told us the only way he didn't have to get on stage is if he would film us. Bill check. So that's what he's doing. So actually, Eric and I came down from Michigan together to start this company. And we're a self-branded company trying to grow a brokerage in a very competitive part of Florida.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your 3 or 4 things? What would you share with the group if you wanted to help them go to the next level? What would you write down?
I think the biggest thing is to remember you're always a student. What happened last year is I was on the selling side, and we had a transaction in Siesta Key that went into the ditch. And the other agent, the buyer's agent, pulled it out of the ditch, and he resurrected it, and he saved it. He was 23 years old. Next year I'll be 60. So I pulled him aside, and I asked him, I said, Kurt, how did you do that? Where did you learn that? Can I tell him the truth?
Yeah.
He said, Mike Ferry.
Yeah.
But I forgot. I went back and I Googled the name Ferry. I found you, and it was right there.
But does internet marketing work? Does buying keywords on your competitors work?
The key is, all of us can learn from that 23-year-old agent that had 1 year under his belt.
Yes.
We're always a student.
Yes.
So I think we're having a successful year, but do I think we know everything about real estate? I know we don't. And I think if you admit that to yourself, and you surround yourself with the right folks, and you continue to work hard, I have a routine every morning. We just opened up brand new offices in Longboat Key. I'm real proud of those. And we're going to grow, but we're growing in a controlled manner. So we got really lucky on the internet thing. We're very heavily into Zillow, Realtor.com, and Trulia. And I love it when 4 agents get the same lead. Nobody beats me. I am back in touch with that client.
So give them one tip on how you beat 4 other agents. What do you do that's different?
Okay, first of all, I use Top Producer. The reason I use it is because the first seminar I went to, I was told that was it, and now it does everything I want. So when that lead comes in, it comes into Top Producer. They get an automatic email from me with an embedded video talking about our business practices. And I have one designed for Realtor.com, one for Trulia, one for Zillow. On my smartphone, the menu pops up, and I have one button to make a phone call. I have another button to send a text message. So both of those occur. Back in the office, the listing information is sent out, and I stay in touch until I actually make contact with that client and find out where they are in the buying process.
So automatically every lead gets a video that kind of talks about, like if they're Realtor.com, you're like, hey, the reason you came to Realtor.com, hey, with Trulia, right? And then you give them some value add, like, hey, this is what we do and how we do it, why you should work with us.
Right.
Tell your buddy if you do that on every lead right now. Like, they get an automatic video. Tell your buddy yes or no. I saw a few of you saying yes. Man, the rest of you, I'd be writing that one down. This guy's gone from 0 to $25 million in volume in a year. I'd be paying attention. What was number 2 or 3 on your list? What else do you want to share?
The other thing is I think you have to be yourself, and you have to really understand who you are. What's big for me at this stage in my life is community service. So another good way to network and get known, especially when I moved to Longboat Key, I didn't really know anybody, is to get involved in the community. So ultimately I became president of our association where I live at Seek Place in Longboat Key. This year I'm the current treasurer. I'm a member of the Kiwanis. I'm actually their membership director this year. And on July 1st, I become president of the board for Big Brothers Big Sisters for Sarasota. So in that work...
No, guys. Hello? Remember yesterday when we said you want to do geographic farming or your database, you got to be the hub? Are you in the community, or are you just trying to make money from the community? Sounds like he's in the community. What do you guys think? Giving back, sharing, and of course, automatically you're going to do a few more deals because of it. Okay, so being in the community, making a difference. Was there one more thing on your list?
I think the big thing is you're always marketing. People think I own one white shirt just like Eric down there. We actually have multiple, but I wear this shirt every day, almost everywhere I go.
Why?
Because it's got our logo on it. So we're marketing. People know I'm a real estate agent. I have a good friend that's a Remax agent, and he wears all the bling, all the gold jewelry. It's really cool. Our style's a little bit more laid back. So I have this shirt on most of the time, but I don't force real estate on them. But I get approached in audiences and all kinds of settings asking, are you an agent? And then I can carry the conversation from there. Now, based on what you did for us last year, I've now gone out and I've got my broker's license. So we're continuing to progress and grow. And if anybody's in the Sarasota area, I got to do a quick commercial, that is interested in being part of a brokerage, it's exciting.
I think he's recruiting from the stage.
Get outside the box. Give me a call.
That's called, okay, write this in your notes. You guys want a really good book? Read the book tonight called Shameless Self-Promotion. I'm not kidding. Mike, have you read that book?
No, I haven't.
It's one of the best books ever. Right? It talks about like the P.T. Barnums of the world to the guys like Mike who take advantage of the moment and go for it. Right? I love it. I didn't mean to cut you off. I love it. That's awesome. Justin, what did you write down? What are the 3 or 4 most important things they've got to do to drive production?
I think leaders are readers. And so
say it again.
Leaders are readers.
Leaders are readers.
And and so earlier we were talking about some of the greats read 6 books a month. That's awesome. But how do you do it? And I don't listen to music in my car anymore. Like now it's audiobooks or podcasts.
Yep.
And that's how I start my morning, to work and from work. And it kind of helps keep my mind either moving or thinking about something new, learning new strategies. And so that's where I really started to kind of shift my mindset a little bit and really started to kind of change what I was doing. And as far as what to read, I mean, last year I walked around and asked the coaches for book recommendations.
Smart.
And that was my only question. And I left here with this huge reading list. And all kinds of like neuro-linguistic programming, which is the coolest thing ever.
Yep.
Just how multi-million-dollar homeowners think, how billionaires think. I mean, all really, really good stuff that at the time, how does that fit into the big picture? Well, when you're out in the field, you start to see opportunities to start using it.
Yeah.
And it really does make a difference.
Okay, so reading, and in case you're not physically reading, you're listening to audios all the time.
Yeah.
Average age, guys, you're on your car for what, 3 hours a day minimum? 3 hours a day Howard Stern, or 3 hours a day listening to something positive, uplifting, sales strategy, marketing? Love it. What's number 2?
And then knocking on doors. I mean, it's not fun. I mean, it can be fun, but I've always knocked on doors. I'm really
You're
not.
a former military guy. What branch did you serve in?
Army.
So is anybody shooting at you when you're knocking on doors?
Not yet.
No doubt, guys. He and I were tweeting back and forth, Agent Hero.
Yep. Well, thank you, by the way.
You're very
signed
welcome.
up today.
Okay, Agent Hero was started by 2 guys I know that are both, what's the big military school in the East? West Point. West Point grads, one's a Navy SEAL, and they said, we're going to go out and basically attack every big business in North America and force them to use military vets and give them all the referrals. That's a bitchin' idea, right? So Justin and I were tweeting back and forth, I'm like, dude, check out Agent Hero 1, right?
Signed up.
Good job. So, knocking on doors, not as scary as being shot at.
Not as scary as being shot at, but you get some good stories out of it.
So, when you knock on doors, what do you say? What do you do?
Well,
You ready? Knock, knock, knock. Hi, can I help you?
Yes, I'm Justin Lindsay with the Premier Property Group in Destin, and we are having an open house this weekend.
Oh, great. Good for you.
Yeah, would love for you to come by to it. It's going to be Sunday from noon to 3. We're going to have some refreshments, and love for you to come out.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, which house is on the market?
123 Beach Street.
What's he going to sell for?
1.2 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, you mean the one with the palm tree in the front with the kind of...
And the car out front. Yes.
Yeah. That's going to
That's
sell
the one.
1.2?
It is. And it's probably
I think it's a dog.
Well, if I get any buyers, I'm going to bring them to you.
Yeah, see, that's what...
Okay.
Now watch this. Who has ever knocked on doors to invite people to open houses? Okay, everyone else in the room, write this down. Knock on doors to invite to your open house, and you get seller leads. This is something we talked about it last year at this event. We'll do a little bit tomorrow. What's the typical good response you get? What's the typical bad response you get from the doors? What's the worst thing that's ever happened? What's the best thing that's ever happened? Knocking on doors. Worst thing first.
Worst thing first. Not wearing clothes. That's one.
You mean you weren't wearing clothes?
No. Open the door open the door, and I guess the guy thinks he's being funny because there he is and naked. I mean, that was one that was.
Did you go, hi, my name is...
No, actually, my response was, we're having an open house this weekend.
No, hey, we're having an open house this weekend. Put your pants on. Come on. So wait a minute. The worst thing that happened is a nude guy answered the door. Actually, sounds kind of funny. What was the best thing that happened?
Best thing, well, this was last summer in July, and I was wearing all black, and I knocked on the door. It was like 100 degrees, and open house this weekend. Sweat. My God, it's hot out here. Would you like some water? I'm like, absolutely. Come on inside, tell me about it. And it was a 25-minute conversation, just because I looked miserable. But, and ended up, gave a listening presentation, weren't ready yet, didn't have the motivation. And so I stay in contact with them, and it's something in the database, but I usually will get at least, I'll learn who they are, they'll learn who I am, and I'll get a phone number.
That's awesome. Awesome. We give him a big round of applause. That's good. All right. I got 2 questions for you. Most embarrassing moment in real estate in the first 12 months?
That wasn't one of the questions we were supposed to have. Probably the time that we begged for that listing after the for sale by owner.
So how did it go down?
Okay, so we met with them first, and we didn't ask for it on the first meeting, but we called her like first thing the next day in the morning. We were like, hi, how are you? We were just curious, there's 2 other agents who have listings on your street. We think you should diversify and list with us. And then we just kind of kept, are you sure you don't want to list with us? And yeah, that was probably the worst.
And you begged and got rejected?
Correct. It was the worst.
Did you just drink heavily that day? How did you get over it?
I think I cried for a little bit. I'm a crier, so I get very upset. There may have been Patron that evening, but I'm not sure.
She can't remember.
Right.
If all else fails, Patron. Mike, most embarrassing moment in the last 12 months?
Sitting here thinking, and really, I mean, it happened to Eric and I, nothing for just me. The very first condo that we ever showed was supposed to be an empty condo. And so we knock on the door, nobody's there. Eric opens with the E-key. He goes in first, fortunately. Then there's a nude woman standing there. So Eric handled it very well. He stopped the rest of us from coming in.
Oh, you had like clients with you?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Our first ever showing, ever.
Wait, first showing in real estate or first showing at that condo?
No, first showing in real estate.
Their first showing ever.
I right then knew that I was going to love real estate.
Yeah, hey, this is a fun business. So we got 2 nude stories already. Welcome, Allison, welcome to real estate. If you haven't seen anybody naked yet, you haven't done enough. All right. So I want each of you to share with them right now, because tomorrow morning when we start going to the business plan, we're going to get into morning routine and schedule. So I want you to break down for them analytically the part of your morning where you're making phone calls, what you do before, like get a little tactical, morning routine into making whatever you do, calling FSBOs, knocking on doors, whatever it is. So, Justin, tell them first, what's your morning schedule?
Morning schedule, I wake up and I change a diaper. Like that's probably
Wake up, change your diaper. God bless you, that's awesome. Good.
So once I get
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So once I get to work, I have no chance in my day at all. Like I don't have any type of. I try to schedule as much as possible.
Yes.
And so I get to work. I do my. Well, I have to get into the right mindset.
Yep.
And the way I do that, you know, because you got to put your.
That was good.
And so
you put on your tiara.
I put on my tiara, and it's time to work.
All coaching clients are going, I didn't get a tiara.
And
so you get your mindset right.
I get my mindset right. I control the music I listen to, which is basically your playlist that you play in the company.
Yep. Fun, energy music.
Right. I always start with high energy music. My office looks like a crazy person's office. I have a stand-up desk, dry erase boards all over the place, and big spotlights for my Bomb videos.
Nice.
And I see what's happened on Bomb or Boomtown the night prior.
Leads.
My leads, what's happening on my leads, and then I start doing phone calls, video, email, text messages. And all of my leads get that every single day. And I'll do that till about noon.
You guys hear that? You call a lead. You call them. If you don't get them, you send them a
Bomb video.
Bomb video. Hey, I just left you a message. Want to make sure I'm following up. And then you text them also.
Well, I won't. Like they're on a rotation.
Okay.
So like person one, he's going to get a phone call today. Tomorrow, a Bomb video. If he opens it, doesn't respond, I'll shoot him a text. And then.
Did you all write that down? Because that's beautiful lead follow-up 101. Call, no response, send video, no response, send text. Whoever follows up the most wins. Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And then if I keep calling and then I start picking up that he or she is screening my call,
Yeah.
that's my absolute favorite because they just don't want to talk to me. And now I send them a quick text message that says, hey, I understand if you're just looking. I don't want to bother you, but just tell me because I don't want to bother you. You don't want to talk to me. Let's just tell me. And they'll always respond, I don't want to talk to you right now. Okay, cool. Let me help you because you're probably getting a lot of calls from other agents. They can't continue to follow up with you if you're already working with an agent. So do this. Tell them you're working with me, and if they do call me and let me know their name and their brokerage. Will you do that? Great tip, dude. Thanks so much. And then, step further, I'm working on a blog.
Did you guys write that down? That's a Jedi move right there. That's a very advanced move. That's not a rookie move.
And then the next step to that is, would you do me a favor? I'm working on a blog post, the top 5 beach houses in Destin. If I send it over to you, will you take a look at it and let me know what you think? Of course, all of the pictures, all the properties that I send are ones they're looking at.
Yeah.
And
Surprise.
It's just crazy how that works out. And yeah, I'll send it over, would love to see it. And so they go from non-responsive to screening my calls to now telling other agents that they're working for me or working with me. And now I'm sending them properties. So if they're screening, they're my favorite.
Okay, clap it up because that was a killer. Good. Morning routine.
Well, I can't top that at all, and I'm just going to be really honest. My morning routine is not good. I'm working on that with my coach right now. I am single. I don't have any pets. I don't have anything that I have to get up for, so I like to
Are you
sleep until
prospecting
10.
right now? What are you doing?
No, but I like to sleep until 10.
You sleep till 10?
If I can.
I love it. I love it. What time do you go to bed at night?
Well, I like a lot of sleep, so still 10.
She's actually 87 years old. Sleep is the cure. All right, so you roll out of bed at 10.
Okay, it's not really 10, it's more like 8, but that's still late for our business. so
Sure.
8. And then I hang out in my PJs for a little bit, and then I go play tennis.
Like, this is not confessional.
I know! My coach is
Just
very
get yourself
upset about
funny,
it.
you know.
I'm in a lot of trouble right now. And then I come back and then I get all my stuff done. And if there's something really pressing, like if I'm working on a deal or something like that, then I'll get that done first. But tennis is usually in the equation. I get made fun of and I get called a Winter Park mom because I'm always in my tennis skirt. But yeah, so my morning is like that. The goal is 9 a.m., actually from 8 to 9, but it's really just kind of whenever that happens throughout the day.
Okay, now watch this. Remember earlier, a bunch of you and I had lunch, remember we said, whoever you are, our job's to operationalize around you? Do you have some interesting conversations with your coach about this?
We have really, it's more him just being very upset. He actually had the conversation with me about, he tried to break up with me.
How'd that work out?
I apologized and said that I will work on it and that I will get better. And that was about 2 months ago. And since then I have gotten better. I'm up at 8 instead of 9.
Wait, how old are you?
How old do I look?
28.
27, but close.
Okay, I'm pretty good at this, right?
But I get Miley Cyrus all the time, so I try to be like 21.
Yeah. All right, so 27,
Yes.
single.
Yes.
How much money are you gonna make this year?
Well, right now I have 126,000 in GCI, so it'd be like 250 GCI would be total.
Okay, you just made a whole bunch of people really pissed off. Okay, that is, give her a huge round of applause. That's inspiring. No, you know what I love, guys, is that different strokes for different folks, right? Now, contrast to Mike. Mike, what's your morning routine?
I think the biggest thing we have to admit, it's never the same. So here's what I try to do. The first thing I do, I get up and I can tell who's been in the MLS system in the past 24 hours.
Yep.
When you're working with an internet lead, you got to get them off of Zillow, Realtor, and Trulia, where all your competition still is, and you have to get them into your own portal. Our new matrix system here in Florida does well.
Yes.
So I go through, and I haven't been caught yet, but anyone that's been in the last 24 hours, I send them an email. Hey, we haven't talked in a long time. Can we chat later this week? When's a good time for me to call you, or do you want to call me? And then I put them into top producers to follow up with a call. So they're active, they're looking at something, I really want to watch those. Then the next thing I try to do is address emails. When I got up at the hotel this morning, there was 3 folks that reached my system while I was sleeping. And all 3, or there was more than 3, but 3 want to get together this weekend. So I responded with emails when my office hours were and things like that. Then you start handling the problems maybe that come up during the day.
Yeah.
Just if I can tell one quick story, you know, what's important is that we're in this conference and we're engaged, and that's what I wanted to do. But halfway through the morning, I got up and left. On my phone, I'm watching a chain of emails from the one team member who's still back at Longboat Key handling a closing that went south yesterday. I have the buyer. This morning when the buyer arrives, there's garbage strewn all over the front of the house. The lawn wasn't cut. The seller left it in very bad shape. So I was watching the emails. Madeline's doing a great job. But I picked up the phone. I called the buyer. The first thing I did was I apologized that she had to go through that. We're the buyer side, not the seller. But I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that lawn cut for you, and we're going to get that garbage picked up today. So she was very happy. Then I called Madeline and I asked her, how are we going to do that? I just made a promise.
We all know that program.
See, I'm not a control freak. The staff does well. That's why they're part of the team. But I think the key thing is so that client 2 weeks ago, I sold a $600,000 duplex to her, tried to get her to write reviews, and she never did. After this bad situation, and we turned it around, she can't stop talking about the service she got. So a bad situation is something that we can control. Even if it's not our fault, it's not our responsibility, we can fix it. So I was very happy that we were able to turn that around this morning.
That's a great story. Give him a big round of applause. That's awesome.
For those of you that are in this room that are, and you don't know that I'm going to say this, that aren't in the coaching program, that's the one change you need to make. You really want to walk out of here. If it can give someone like Eric and myself and other folks a success, whether it's a path using money or it's a path using sweat equity, that's what this coaching program is all about. At my age and my stage in my life, if it can make an impact, if I hit 25 million, that's 750,000 GCI, that's a net of over $500,000. I've never made that kind of money before. So every one of you need to take that seriously and think about getting into the coaching and really taking yourself to the next level. It works. It's that simple.
That's awesome. Can we give these three a huge round of applause? You're very comfortable on stage. All of you guys, very comfortable. All right, do me a favor, in your book. Ready? Hold on, sing no music. In your book. Shh. Now what I want you to do, one last little project.